either happened to you, it's happened to someone you love or a close friend, or it's happened to someone you love and a close friend and you just don't know it yet.
Right, because they're not.
So everybody knows.
So everybody's touched by this, you know. And then there is this domino effect. I was thinking what you asked about shame. We live in this schizophrenic society, right? It's super sex positive. Everything's sex, 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 right? We sell by sex and ads. But the actual intimate act of sex is extremely private. People don't talk about it. And you know, so that's why you see this schism and this shame around it. You know, in fact, a prosecutor we interviewed, she said, you know, you guys, I've been prosecuting rape crimes, and I have the bad fortune of prosecuting prostitutes are my clients, right? So what's the likelihood I'm going to get a conviction against a John? She said, so year after year of losing case after case, I finally sat the jury down and I said, she said, I had an idea. So I sat the jury down and I said to them, okay, everybody in the room, think back on the most fabulous last sexual experience you had. Everybody got that? Think about it in detail, everything like that. The best experience you most recently had of sex. She goes, okay, now we're all strangers we just met, who wants to stand up and share it with us? Anyone? And you know, and she said it really did help shift the jury. She said, so why would my client want to sit in front of you, a room of strangers, and talk about a horrific act that happened to her if she was fabricating it? If none of you are willing to sort of talk about an extremely positive sexual experience. Right. And that's sort of, so I was thinking when you said that, so it's part of that schizophrenia that our society has. And people internalize it, and they should not feel ashamed, and they should not ever, ever, ever feel they were at fault.
Is there something about college, whether it's the age of the people there, whether it's the nature of the environment, that makes it a peculiarly dangerous place when it comes to sexual assault?
Yes, exactly, because people say, well, why did you do it on college campuses? Obviously, we have assault in our society at large, but what's interesting or horrifying about campuses, and also we did our other film, The Invisible War, on the of assault in our military, is that these are environments that have perfect storm conditions for this to happen, right? There's a transient population that's extremely young. There's plenty of opportunity because there's more partying, you know, chronically. So, and you know, there's a lot of alcohol, which isn't an excuse, but we also know from studies that it's used to debilitate victims and also embolden a perpetrator. So you have those three things combined that make these places a little more toxic and a little more likely, and that's why you also you have the last element is these not really great investigative and adjudicative processes in place. And you know, in fact, in our film, it was really horrifying. We interviewed the former president of SAE at Dartmouth. SAE's, you know, a fraternity. And we didn't include this in the film, but I remember when we were talking to him, he said the brothers would semiotically read the women as they came in. And they'd know,
some of them, yeah.
Yeah, some of them, and they'd see by what they were wearing whether they were more likely to be able to be pliable and preyed upon, meaning like if they had the wrong shoes, they were clearly clueless, or you know, a purse would mean that you'd never been to a frat party before because no one brings a purse. I mean, it was like that stratified and crazy, you know, economically read, you know, if they were on scholarship, they'd be less likely to report. I mean, that kind of craziness. Well, on a micro level, it's such a small act that all of us can do is simply believe survivors.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And if each one of us does that and treats everybody that way and it messages out, that's transformative, you know, because as we see in our film, and as we know from PTSD, and as everyone we interviewed said, it wasn't the trauma so much, that it was everything that happened in its aftermath. And they do show that if your first responder is compassionate and empathic and doesn't challenge you and supports you, your healing process is much swifter.